Um, Okay, so welcome, welcome. And thank you for showing up. And I mean, I shared a little bit before I hit record, but even if I hadn't have had this time built in, then I would have carried on. And I love the posts that I see on slowing down. I love that it's become so mainstream around like, we're really honoring that this is winter. We're not midwinter point yet. Um, a new year, more and more people say, well, it's more March for the behavior change or any big life changes, which is great. However, I'm like, but how? How do we stay devoted to this slowness that we may have found a little bit easier to cultivate with not being at work so much over the Christmas holidays, or just not having to get up to do the school run or, commute to a workplace or whatever life looks like. If it has slowed down, how do we keep that? Because the same as any kind of detox or fad diet or exercise regime, it's like, yeah, I'm committed to this. And then boom, it all just, you just get back into that fastness of things. Um, so I'm going to just stop here and just ask you to make an intention, a little promise to yourself. You can either jot it down or you can just silently say, this is going to be the change that I'm going to make for keeping this slowness. I can't say you can resign. You can't do that. I can't pay any bills, I'm afraid. So you can't tell your boss to stick it. What is a practical thing we can I'm going to give you a moment of silence. Just sit with that. Thinking that one or two changes, really small, that you can honor and protect this silence and this slower stage. Maybe very practical phone notifications, making sure that you take a break, not replying quickly, not taking a phone into the bedroom. A really good practical way is just if you think of yourself like a car and the gears, when you change to second and third and fourth and fifth and even up to sixth, just have times in your day. If you are a driver, traffic lights are great. I know those that have done my course have heard this, so thank you for your patience and a little refresh. But pick times, pick the traffic lights or a kettle or even the toilet. These are things that we do every day. When you reach that point, if you nip to the toilet or you're flicking on the kettle or you're stood at a red light, you sat at a red light, just take a breath, just pause and go, what gear am I in? What gear am I flying at? I caught myself out on the school run. I'm like, oh, I'm so can I hold on to all of this slowness? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 to 3. Stop, pause, because you won't get anywhere any quicker. So really thinking about, or it could be honouring some time in the morning to get up a little bit earlier to do a little bit of breath work, whatever it looks like. I pulled a card earlier. I've got some angel cards and I've left them in the other room. But the one that I did pull was devotion, which I think is so important. I don't know if you want to think about what devotion means to you. For me, it's that devotion to practice and to myself. Um, because when we are flying off in fourth, fifth, sixth gear, and especially as women, I love it. It's all women on the call. Um, we are naturally that archetypes of women are naturally caregivers. We are naturally nurturing. Some of us are mothers, some of us are not. It doesn't matter. There is an archetype within us, within our psyche, and we have mothers, we have grandmothers, we have great grandmothers, and that bloodline and that lineage we never see, or we may never have seen a woman rested. And so this devotion of like coming home to a slower pace in order that we can then go and hang out the uniform or go and take that call or hold space for someone, but just pulling that energy back in. So if you want to stop at traffic lights or next time you go to the loo or you flick the kettle on and think about what gear am I in, another layer you can add to that is where is my energy? Where's my energy gone today? And that leads us nicely into just a first little journaling prompt around where has your energy gone today? So just thinking about your day where you got up, whether you took the dogs out or you called someone, maybe you were back at work today, maybe you were woken at 5 a.m. by the bin men. Just think about where has my energy gone today? Where have I given my energy? Because what I would like to create in this landing space of a Monday evening is a landing space for us to meditate, but also calling that energy back in. So you may want to think about your space like a physical space over the next week. You don't have to change your room and buy anything or get anything. It is just about making that intention of actually that bit of the sofa or that side of the kitchen is going to be clear. There's going to be a little place that you can retreat to, your safe space. Mine did used to be my bedside table, but I'm never in there. I literally go up there to just sleep and then I'm often too tired to pick up my book. So that's something that I'm working on. But for me, is that kind of it's this space. I will show you what's on the other side. I chuck things over there. It's not all clean and tidy. But this is it as well. It's that acceptance that I think becoming intentional. And when I've done these online meditations before, what I felt was missing, and this is in my own personal experience, as well as if I show up to a yoga class or I show up to a meditation space, is that's all very well for 45 minutes to an hour. And then I'm like, I'm back in the car and I'm back in sixth gear. And I'm like, it's holding on to that. So hopefully in our little WhatsApp group and some worksheets and some journaling, when I say journaling, I talk about like popping the pen literally on the paper and seeing what happens. We could just do this. You don't have to, it's not, dear diary, today I went to the shops and then I cooked some tea. We're not doing it's just sometimes things get stuck in our head. Sometimes things are going around on loop in our head. So it's a time to just get it down, write letters that you'll never send. It's one of my favorite hacks. It just allows that freedom from the head. We want to drop into the heart. We can't drop here if we're always operating here. When we write, It's like a lovely expression. It's a release. Um, so yeah. Um, I've probably talked enough about that. So before we go on to um, some more journaling type prompts, um, we're just grounding, I think. So grounding, you can just, if your feet aren't on the floor, don't worry. If you lay on a bed, that's also fine. But just wherever you are, put your hands either on your knees or beside you, or if you are on the floor, or you can bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. We want that contact from here, either with the ground or with ourselves. And a really good way to regulate grounding, often there's a beautiful way to ground, and when we visualize the rooting, but grounding is often touch. You know, this, when you see that, like, it's actually a self-soothing technique. It's one of our innate ways that we can calm ourselves. We are so deprived of that human touch. We just don't, and especially since COVID. Um, it's not about intimacy, it's not about connection and anyone. It is literally one of the quickest ways to calm our nervous system is placing a hand, legs, or by the side of you, just so you can actually feel that it calms everything down. I'm practicing that. It can feel weird, just intuitively think, oh, where do my hands need to be? Might be your neck, shoulders, but just hold, find a space and just hold. And when you've found that, all we're going to simply do is take 5 deep breaths in together. So we're going to go in for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause slightly and slowly exhale. And you're as if you're blowing out birthday candles. Still real gentle pursed lips. And again, inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight hold at the top and gently exhale. And again, inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentle pause at the top. Slowly exhale through the mouth. And I'm going to let you do the next 2 on your own, in your own rhythm. Nice big inhale. Pause at the top when you get there. And exhale. And one last one. Hopefully, that's just brought things down a little bit, and just think about what pace you're at now, what gear change, that simple breath. There's so much, so much research out there on the power of breath, and we can overcomplicate things. I want to keep things really simple. All we need to do is make that exhale longer than our inhale. We do not breathe. We don't exhale slower than an inhale if we are in immediate threat. So even if you feel panicky, you're worried about being late for the children, whatever it may be. You can take that deep breath in and make sure that exhale is longer. That gives a note to your nervous system to say, it's safe. You might not feel it, that thought won't go away, but it's telling your nervous system, and our body will believe our breath in the same way as our body will believe our thoughts. So if we're like, oh my God, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late. This is awful. I'm the worst mum ever. My body reacts to that thought. Suddenly I'm like, and I'm in sixth gear. I'm more likely to have a car accident as well. Um, I just can take that breath, even if I'm not feeling that way. It will give my nervous system a huge post-it note, a huge love note to go, oh, well, the thoughts are frantic, but we're safe. The exhale's longer than the inhale. Um, so breath is a really, really important one. So I always talk about nature, going into nature. Um, and I'm not talking hours, the work that I do and the women that I work with are generally really hectic lives, and these are microbites. So on the way home from work or on your way on your normal walk, if you do have a walk in the day, taking that extra 3 minutes. I'm talking like a little egg timer. You can get yourselves an egg timer if you want and sit and tip that and just do some breath or think, I'm going to do 3 minutes of journaling. It's got to be easily accessible. Um, and look at what it's doing now. It's sleeping. Um, we're not supposed to be out there, but it will always come back. And I think this is what we fear, that if there's an end of something, what will that look like? But like nature, there is a constant cycle of that rebirth, that seasons. And also as women, whether we're menstruating or we're not menstruating, we will still have that rhythmical cycle. So at the moment when we're looking at nature, and if you've got, I don't know, if you wash up the kitchen, the kitchen window, if there's a tree nearby, just keep your eye on it. Just look, you can connect with that. And when I was talked in my moon circle at the weekend about spirituality, and I hadn't realized how much like stigma that's the word spirituality still has. And it is connection. It's connection to something that is greater than you. So that could be the tree outside the window. Offering it up, like if we could just get rid of this human conditioning that we have to solve the problem. It is just us. If we can just unlearn and unpick a little bit of that in this month, that would be incredible. And really catching yourself when you're thinking, it's just me. I give my tree everything. There's a tree, honestly, a few streets away, and I'm like, right, can you help me with this today? Handing over. Just there's got to be something else, so actually surrendering to the flow of life in the same way that the trees just stand there and they don't hold on to anything, and just having that trust in the universe or the tree outside your kitchen window, whatever it is. I see it in clients. If they can engage with that concept of trust outside of themselves, the just the whole the change, the I don't like to say like outcome because that sounds quite clinical, but the difference in their journey of healing is profoundly different to someone that just doesn't believe in anything, because it's hard, because then it leaves us with this human conditioning. So I just invite you to be a little bit curious about that. And also, if it's like, really not for me, then that's okay too. But I feel like it's a huge disservice to the power of that way of life if I don't bring that into this space. So, thinking of nature, I mean, I'm just going to do like 5 minutes chatting, journaling, and then we're going to go into a nice meditation. But something for you to think about is when we look at nature, just ask yourself, where are you in your life overriding your natural rhythm? I was definitely work today, but I can't quit. But there's that. And how can you, is it sleep? Let's go back to basics as well. Are you hydrated? Are you nourishing yourself? Are you sleeping? And if you are having problems sleeping, as many of us do, just having what I call clean rest. If you can still be resting in a resting space and a comfortable bed, try not to get too panicky about the hours of sleep. Because one thing that's really bad when you're not sleeping is like, oh my God, I've got to be up in 3 hours. Just reassuring yourself, like, I'm resting, my body's taking what it needs from this rest. Try not to look at the phone, but just look at basic needs as well. Am I getting enough sleep? Um, am I getting enough fruit and veg? Am I drinking enough water? Am I having some gentle movement? Which are all the basics, which also, I see people come to meditation classes. I like, I want to see colours. I want to improve my dreams. I want all the answers and the clarity. But if we're not coming at it from just being purely hydrated and a little bit rested, that's going to be quite tricky. And I still do it now. I'm like, gosh, I haven't drunk enough water yet. And I notice, like, once you start noticing that lethargy, and it's like, actually, I need some more water. Simple things. And again, 2026, and I won't bang on about astrology because it's not a moon circle, but it's set to be a really fast year. It's the year of the horse, the Chinese horoscopes. And um, we've just come from the year of the snake. But the world, whether you believe in that or not, the world is set to get faster, a lot faster. And we need to rebel and get slower because it takes us with it. As soon as you open that email, as soon as you open whatever it is, just think, okay, I'm going at a slower gear. The work will still get done or it will still be there tomorrow. So thinking about where you're overriding your natural rhythm, where you're pushing yourself too much, um, and just giving yourself permission to slow down. So many people, oh yeah, I can do 7 minutes. I can do 3 minutes a day. And they come back to me a week later and they're like, well, now I'm really depressed because I haven't even got 3 minutes in my day. And this is where I want to get really intentional and accountable. Um, because we say we will, we say we do sometimes. It's like, and I'm guilty of it. I'm like, okay, I've got a great meditation practice. And then you stop doing it. And I think this is the key is we let it slide and then we get really stressed again and it won't fix all the problems. It will change our reaction to the things that are happening so that when situations happen, we feel more emotional neutrality instead of emotionally reactive. That is the beauty of meditation and also being in these spaces and being curious about our programming and how we work. Um, and then we're all right, and then we stop doing it. And sometimes we just have to remember why. But it isn't about putting, I've got to find time for this or that. As we did that simple breath, that simple grounding. If you're in a meeting and it's like it's starting to feel overwhelming, or in traffic, or the bus hasn't turned up, just placing a hand, just connecting back with you, all the trees around you. Um, so we are going to talk about how I love meditation. So we're going to do some now. I will stop the recording at the end. As I said, if you want to stay on and have a chat about some of the stuff I've talked about, you are welcome. If you want to share what you want to do the next week in this space, then please do. But also, if you're like, oh yeah, it's 9 o'clock, I'm done, you can exit that meeting. Okay, so if you want to get yourself into a nice, comfortable position, you can be laid down, you can be sat up. Now, the spine being straight is ideal. Like we have this lovely channel of energy going up and down the back. Can't see very well, but if you think about the crown of your head, but if you are laid down, it works as well. But we're just thinking about that neutral alignment, some um straightening of the spine, but we don't want to be up rigid, be quite relaxed and just being aware of that. So whether you are sitting or whether you are lying down, I always say, please move if you're uncomfortable. I've seen people rigid, like, oh God, how can I meditate? And the head starts going, relax. You will find that when you start to relax, the throat might need to clear. Just things slowing down. So coughing is perfectly normal. So if you want to go, screen off. If you haven't, you're welcome to. But if you want to stay, you are welcome. But we're just going to get in that lovely comfy position, and I invite you to just close the eyes if that feels right for you. Just simply bring the attention to the natural rhythm of your breath. No effort, no correction, no deepening. Just notice how your breath moves your body. Notice how an inhale feels compared to the exhale. Slowing down by just simply being and noticing this breath. And feeling that weight of your body, how it's supported by the chair, bed, floor, and the earth. This next 20, 25 minutes, you do not need to hold yourself at all. Just allow yourself to be supported, surrendering to rest, giving yourself permission to slow. If you are sat, allow those shoulders to drop. create a beautiful distance between the ear and the shoulder. Allow the belly to become soft. Really allow that belly to just relax fully. Also, a little check in here with your jaw, just to check the teeth aren't clenched. We're just going to now slowly bring a more intentional awareness to the body. And we're just starting at the crown of the head. And you may want to invite a colour into this practice to help visualize whatever colour comes to mind, or a temperature, whether it's cool or warm, maybe even an element of water, fire, or air. Just going to start at the crown of the head, so take whatever visualization feels right for you. And we're going to slowly move down the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw, the throat, back of the neck. If any of these areas, as you travel down, feel like they are built with some tension, just send a loving breath, some movement and release to this area, or a touch as we go across the shoulders, front and the back, cross down into the chest, the heart space. A rib cage. Let's just pause and take a nice deep breath in, feeling that expansion of the ribs, and a nice slow breath out, feeling that fall of the rib cage. The power of that breath to move our body. As we go to the belly, we hold a lot of fear and tension and emotion in the belly. Send that lovely visual that you have across down into the hips and the lower back, the thighs, calves, shins, the ankles, feet. Take a little moment, say a little thank you to your feet, the places they've taken you today, and having just connected with each part of the body. Just notice in this moment where your body feels rested, relaxed, open, spacious, and where it may feel tight, tired, or guarded. Instead of trying to change anything even tension. Just simply ask your body in this moment, what do you need from me right now? What does your body need from you right now in this moment? Try to avoid any judgment or explanation of what answers arise. We're now just going to take a few minutes to honour ourselves. So I invite you to imagine meeting yourself just as you are, not who you think you should be, just yourself as you are, and see this version of you clearly. Notice their posture, expression, and energy. Just silently ask yourself, what are you carrying? What are you carrying? And then ask, what are they longing for? This version of you, just as you are, what is she longing for? Again, try to avoid any rational thinking behind what answers come up. And now you may like to imagine offering them something that they need. Maybe rest, reassurance, whatever that they were longing for. Just visualize giving them that. Giving permission for softness, for whatever it may be. And allow these words to land with you. I really invite you here to try and embody these words. You are allowed to need what you need. You do not have to earn rest. Your worth is not measured by your productivity. Just going to say those words again. Just notice what comes up for you, if anything. You are allowed to need what you need. You do not have to earn rest. And your worth is not measured by productivity. I'm just going to leave you here in a couple of minutes silence. Just enjoy that time to be. Just gently ask yourself, what is one small way I can honour myself after today? One small way that you can honour yourself. Just going to gently bring that awareness to the breath. Just noticing your natural rhythm of this incredible life force that we often don't experience consciously. Just be with your breath right here, right now, in this moment. Starting with the feet now, wherever your feet may be, the heels, whatever contact point there is with the floor, I invite you to imagine that connection with the earth, going past the chair or the bed, floor of your house, the layers, the rock, the rubble, the foundations, down further and further and further. Till we slowly connect to the center of the earth. And I just invite you to wrap your roots around this center of the earth. Not only to feel grounded, but in moments where life is getting busy or you feel overwhelmed, just simply pause and feel that connection with your feet to the surface, knowing that the roots that are going down into the earth, you can take a deep breath in and draw whatever you need from the center. Whether that be courage, peace of mind, you can use your breath to draw from, draw up through to meet your feet, up through the legs, into the belly, and allow it to make its way to your heart space, the chest, just knowing that that connection, whenever you need, have one simple breath. So I invite you now to just deepen that breath and do 5 deep cleansing breaths as we did at the beginning. A lovely long inhale in. A slight pause at the top where you notice that release of the gentle exhale as you exhale through the mouth. You may want to give a sigh, let anything go that you're holding on to. Breathing in, slight pause, and that breath out. Just let go of anything that is stagnant, anything from the day that you just want to get go of. And just continue until you've done a round of 5. When you've completed that round, just slowly notice that energy in your body. We're so disconnected from our bodies, many of us. So it may feel strange to try and get a felt sense. We just simply notice how your body feels now compared to the beginning. Bring in some gentle movement. You may want to bring your palms together and start to just gently rub the palms, creating some heat, some energy. Wiggling the toes, moving the neck. Keep the eyes closed, or if you wish, gently bat them open. When you do open the eyes, if they've been closed, just take a look around the room. See if you can notice one detail that you haven't seen for a while. Just pick the tassel of a cushion or the pattern on the curtain and just hold your gaze there. Just really look, really see that focal point. And try to look at it with a beginner's mind. And when you feel ready, come back to the screen, have a little wiggle if you want to. If you want to drift off, that is also fine. I am going to stop the recording there and open up 5-10 minutes if anyone wants to